Hello there, welcome back to the Art of Science. I'm Chandni and I'm going to start off today's video with a very intriguing question. So tell me, if I leave this cup of water suspended in a pot of water which I then heat, when will this water boil? Will it boil before the surrounding water, after the surrounding water, at the same time as the surrounding water, or will it never boil? Quickly pause this video and comment your answers. Let's put that to the test. I'm going to take this pot here, add some water in it and add a cup of water inside this pot. While we wait, let's look at the theoretical angle of this. To understand the theoretical aspect of that, let's first look at two science fundamentals. First one is that the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. This means that water needs to surpass the 100 degrees Celsius mark for it to turn from liquid to vapor. Now the second thing is how heat transfers in the atmosphere. Heat is a type of energy, and according to the law of conservation of energy, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another, and the same holds true for heat. The transfer of heat in any bodies in the atmosphere happens only through three methods, and they are radiation, convection and conduction. Radiation is when heat transfer occurs through electromagnetic waves without involving particles. For example, the heat from the sun and also the microwaves from an oven. Heat transfer through radiation is the fastest. The second method is convection. Convection is the transfer of heat within fluids like liquids and air. Now this happens because of varying densities. To understand convection better, check out our explainer video on what is convection that is available on our channel. I'll link it in the description box below. Heat transfer through convection occurs at a moderate speed. We can also observe this in the environment around us in the form of water currents and the movement of wind due to pressure belts around the globe. Third and final method of heat transfer is through conduction. Now conduction occurs when two bodies are in contact with each other and there is a difference of temperatures in these two bodies. Nature always wants to have everything at equilibrium, which means if there are two bodies that are in contact with each other, then heat will flow from the hotter body to the relatively colder one till the point that they are both at the same temperature. Heat transfer through conduction is something that we observe daily, like the heating of car seats on a hot summer day, getting burnt by hot vessels, or ironing boards warming up during the ironing process. This form of heat transfer is the slowest. Let's examine what's happening in our pot. As we can see, the water in the pot has started to heat up and there are small bubbles that are appearing. While we wait, check this out. If I put my hand around here, it feels warm. That's radiation. Inside the pot, different layers of water are getting heated differently, forming the cyclic process of convection. The pot itself has become really hot and could burn me if I touch it for longer than this. And this is heat transfer by conduction. The water has started to boil now. If your answer was that the water in the cup will boil simultaneously or before the surrounding water, you would clearly be wrong. Let's wait for some time and see if the water inside the cup boils after the surrounding water. Okay, there is absolutely nothing happening. If your answer is that it will heat after the surrounding water, you would also be wrong. The correct answer to this question is never. The water inside the cup will actually never boil, and I'll tell you why. Well, you see, for water to turn into water vapor, it just doesn't have to be at 100 degrees Celsius. Once it reaches the temperature of 100 degrees Celsius, water needs more energy for it to convert into water vapor. Since the pot is in contact with fire, it is able to give the water inside the pot the additional energy it requires for the water to turn into vapor. Now this means that the maximum temperature water in its liquid form can attain is 100 degrees Celsius, because after 100 degrees Celsius it becomes vapor. So the water that is boiling in the pot right now is at a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius, which is the maximum it can go. Now remember, in conduction, the bodies aim to reach a point of equilibrium. So the boiling water in the pot causes the cup and the water inside the cup to reach to a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius. Eventually, the water inside the cup reaches 100 degrees Celsius and they attain a state of equilibrium. Now, if you remember, once water reaches the temperature of 100 degrees Celsius, it needs more energy for it to convert into water vapor. But right now, the entire system is already in an equilibrium of 100 degrees Celsius. There is no more heat transfer that is happening. And that's why the water inside the cup will not get more energy for it to get converted to water vapor. And that's why the water inside the cup will never boil. Isn't this extremely interesting? It's been almost 30 minutes now and the water content has become half in the pot, but the water in the cup is still not even close to boiling. Let me know in the comments below if your answer was right or wrong. Wait. Before we end this video, while I was researching on this topic, a very interesting question came into my mind, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you are also thinking. If water requires a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius to boil and turn into vapor, then how is it possible that the process of evaporation even occurs at temperatures like room temperature? Molecules have a certain amount of kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is the energy that a molecule possesses while in motion. When water is exposed to air, the molecules at the surface of the liquid are in constant motion. According to Maxwell-Boltzmann distribution, all these molecules possess different levels of kinetic energy. This means that all the molecules are moving at different speeds from one another. Now, some of these faster moving molecules achieve enough energy to break the intermolecular bonds that are holding them in the liquid phase and they turn into the vapor phase. And that's evaporation. Evaporation occurs when the molecules of a liquid gain enough energy to overcome the forces of attraction between them and escape into the gas phase. Now you and I can simply boil water and turn it into vapor. But evaporation in the nature depends on certain factors. The first one is temperature. The temperature in the atmosphere determines the kinetic energy of the molecules at the surface of the water. So higher the temperature, higher is the rate of evaporation. The second one is surface area. Naturally, if the surface area is higher, then the amount of molecules present in this surface is high. So the evaporation rate also increases. And finally, humidity. If there's already enough water vapor present in the air, it's already reaching a saturation level, which slows down the evaporation process. In summary, evaporation and boiling are both processes of converting water into vapor, but they have some key differences. The first one is temperature. Evaporation can occur at any temperature, but boiling is specific to the water reaching its boiling point, which is 100 degrees Celsius, and then rapidly vaporizing. The second is formation of bubbles. During evaporation, vaporization occurs at the liquid surface where individual molecules gain enough energy to escape. But boiling forms bubbles of vapor within the liquid itself, which then rise to the surface and dissipate. Third is energy input. Evaporation is constantly occurring at the same amount of energy present in the atmosphere, but boiling requires an added heat. And finally is the rate of evaporation. Evaporation is much slower and depends on factors like temperature, surface area, and humidity. But boiling is much faster and has a higher rate of evaporation. So I hope I've cleared your doubt of evaporation versus boiling. And if you did not have the doubt, I hope you've learned something new today. If you have any ideas on what kind of videos I could make, drop your suggestions in the comment section below. Make sure you like this video and also subscribe to the channel to keep viewing more engaging and fun content. We'll see you next week.